Are there any statements? I call the member for Braddon.
Well, thank you, Deputy Speaker. For the most conspicuous acts of valour, extreme devotion to duty and ultimate self-sacrifice. These are the opening words of the Victoria Cross citation for Corporal Cameron Stewart Baird, VC MG. The citation goes on to record the events surrounding Corporal Baird's actions and ultimately his death in the typical understatement and lacking of pathos that has come to typify the Australian Defence Force's attitude toward the bestowing of an honour upon itself. Nonetheless, the understatement is harrowing in its description of the events that took place on 22nd June 2013 at Gorchak village, Uruzgan province, Afghanistan. And I'd like now, Mr Deputy Speaker, to read part of the citation. With complete disregard for his own safety, Corporal Baird charged towards enemy positions, supported by his team. On nearing the positions, he and his team were engaged by additional enemy on their flank. Instinctively, Corporal Baird neutralised the new threat with grenades and rifle fire, enabling his team to close with the prepared position. With the prepared position now isolated, Corporal Baird manoeuvred and was engaged by enemy machine gun fire, the bullet striking the ground surrounding him. Displaying great valour, he drew the fire, moved to cover and suppressed the enemy machine gun position. This action enabled his team to close on the entrance prepared positions, thus regaining the initiative. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, while pathos is found wanting in this description of the battle, it certainly evokes images of selfless service, courage and loyalty to one's mates. Now, as a man who's never served Australia in the military, I'm filled with an immense sense of pride and thankfulness in all serving and past members of the Defence Forces, including Corporal Baird, when I read descriptions of battles like this one. Deputy Speaker, it is a special honour today to be able to speak to this statement, because Corporal Baird was born in my hometown, in Burnie, in the midst of my electorate Braddon. He was born in 1981. He ultimately moved to Gladstone Park in Victoria, where we often do send some of our best, where he remained until after his high school education was complete. Corporal Baird was a keen sportsman and a talented footballer. Now, following his schooling, Corporal Baird enlisted in the Australian Army and was posted to the 4th Battalion Commando, the Royal Australian Regiment, now the 2nd Commando Regiment, based at Holsworthy Barracks in Sydney, New South Wales. Despite Corporal Baird's young age at the time of his death, he was an experienced soldier, having been deployed on no less than 7 tours, including to Timor-Leste, Iraq and Afghanistan. On a previous tour to Afghanistan, Corporal Baird was awarded the Medal for Gallantry for, and I quote, "gallantry in action during close quarters combat." So it's quite clear, Mr Deputy Speaker, to me that Corporal Baird's actions, though courageous, were not unique to the events on 22nd June 2013. Rather, they typified his action and attitude toward serving his country. Following the recent ceremony at Parliament House in honour of Corporal Baird, I had the opportunity and the honour to meet Corporal Baird's parents. And in particular, I spoke to Mr Doug Baird, his father, on the floor of the Parliament on that morning. And Mr Baird expressed his desire to visit his son's birthplace, which, as I said, is in the electorate of Braddon. He wanted to go back to the place in which his son was born. So, as one of those elected representatives for Burnie, I'd like to say to Mr Burnie that we would be honoured to receive him, be it publicly or without mention, he and his wife Kay and Cameron's brother Brendan are very welcome. In closing, I want to read the closing of Corporal Baird's Victoria Cross citation, as I believe it summarises the words of those that have been spoken both in the main chamber of the Parliament and here in the Federation Chamber. And I quote, "Corporal Baird's acts of valour and self-sacrifice regained the initiative and preserved the lives of his team members. His actions were of the highest order and in keeping with the finest traditions of the Australian Army and the Australian Defence Force. May he rest in peace."